Can you hear me now? I think maybe you can hear me now. Okay, good. Yeah, seems like the past 2 weeks I made the same mistake. I forgot to plug in the USB cord. But okay, all right. So, that's good. You can hear me well. All right, let's see how many people we have here right now. 11. Okay, 11's okay. Okay, I remember the first week we had like 40 students, and then last week it dropped to half, only 20. But it looks like many of you, many of you guys that are in this study, is that you're watching it not live, but you're watching the replay. But that's okay. Maybe many of you are busy on Saturday night. Okay, but that's okay. All right, so we're going to get started here. I think maybe today's lesson may go maybe a little shorter because what we're gonna be covering today, as you can see, are the concluding paragraphs for the IELTS-based opinion essays. So the IELTS-based in an IELTS essay, the concluding sentence is rather short. All right. So yeah, it may go a little more quickly, but let's get going here. Okay. So for today's agenda, what we're going to do, number one, what does compare and contrast mean? Then we're going to cover comparative adjectives, and then superlative adjectives. Okay. And now this sounds difficult, but it's actually really easy. Okay. It just takes practice. Then we're going to talk about the differences between like and as when we're comparing, when we're making a comparison or contrast. What's the difference between using like or as? Okay. And then we're going to do some compare and contrast topic sentence construction. So what's going to happen is I'm going to give you guys some topics, and then in the chat box, I want you to type some topic sentences based upon the topic that I give you. All right, so this will be good practice for when you want to construct your topic sentences. All right, and then lastly, we're going to cover the concluding paragraph for the IELTS-based opinion essay. So then by the end of today, what you should be able to do is you should be able to successfully construct an IELTS-based essay. Okay, and so using the guidelines for an IELTS-based essay, you should be able to get a B2 level or higher on the IELTS Task 2 part of the IELTS writing. Okay, so you want to use it's basically it's an 11 sentence structure that you use for when you have your introductory paragraph, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and then your conclusion. So if you follow this, I guess this outline that I'm giving you, you should have no problem getting a B2 level on your essay construction. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's get started here. All right. So now, who can tell me in the chat box? Ooh, what do we have here? So we have Thanza says compare is for positive, contrast is for negative. A little different. Okay. But who can tell me what is the difference between compare and contrast? So in the chat box, can you type what is the difference between compare and contrast? All right. So Thanza says compare is for positive and contrast is for negative. A little different. So who can tell me what is the difference between compare and contrast? How many people we have here? Ooh, now we got 19 people here. Okay, so almost same as last week. So in the chat box, here we go. So what's that? Ka Pa says compare is when you show the difference between two things. Not Not that. Who else? Is there anybody know? Or is there anybody that knows the difference between a comparison and a contrast? Who can tell me? Does anybody know? So, kake pa, how about change what you said? Okay, here we go. Su Sung Su says, compare is comparing between two different things whilst. Wow. Whilst. I haven't heard that word in a while. Whilst contrast is talking about something opposite to another. Okay, yeah. Well, close. Okay. So a comparison is when you talk about how two things are similar. All right. So, for example, both basketball and baseball, they use a ball. Okay. And contrast, if I contrast baseball and basketball, is that in baseball, they also use a bat. But in basketball, no bat. Okay. So compare is how things are similar. Contrast is how they are different. All right. So let's get going here. Keep going. Okay. So now, for you guys, what would you like to do? Okay, so if you, okay, yeah, Augusta says synonyms. Okay, think of it that way. Synonyms mean similar meaning. Antonym, opposite meaning. Okay. Okay. Now Somo says compare is presenting the same qualities of things and contrast between the. Yeah, very good. So compare is how they're similar. Contrast how they're different. Okay. So now, would you compare or contrast? Okay, so with these topics, it's up to you. You can compare or you can contrast. Okay, so a large city versus a small town. Which would you prefer? So me personally, I would contrast because I've lived in both a large city and a small town, and I would say that maybe a small town is a lot safer than a large city. But I think a large city can be more exciting than a small town. So what do you guys think? Which would you rather do? Would you want to compare or contrast when you're talking about a large city and a small town? Compare. Okay, so Augustus, can you, so you guys, okay, Augustus and So should compare. All right. So now in the chat box, what I want you to do is, how would you compare? What would you say? You could say like both a large city and a small town, they have people, right? And what else could you say? So it looks like we have 5 people that said they want to compare. So if you're going to compare a large city with a small town, what would you say? Can you type that into the chat box? What would you say? All right, so Ka Pa says, compare the places. Okay, yeah, compare the places in living style. Good. Yeah, so maybe they both, in my cases, I used to play a lot of, you wouldn't believe it by looking at me, but I used to play a lot of basketball when I was growing up. All right, so I would say both places, they have parks where they could go play basketball. And then so says, compare about transportation, living expenses. Okay. So you talk about how, yeah, probably where I lived in America, maybe the living expenses were very similar. But I tell this, I've lived in Tokyo. Very expensive living in Tokyo in Japan. But then in my hometown, and then in Thailand, it's a lot cheaper. So yeah. All right. And Su Sung Su said there are many people in a large city while there is a few people, or there are a few people living in a small town. Okay. All right. So let's go to the next one here. Okay, number 2. So studying in one's country versus studying abroad. So, with this one, would you compare or contrast? And so, how would you compare or contrast? So, I would say that I've done both of these, and I would say that if you're studying a foreign language, if you study abroad, you can learn the language much more quickly. Versus if you're studying, like for example, I was studying Japanese in America, and my Japanese slowly got better. But then when I moved to Japan, so it got better very quickly. So what would you guys do when you're talking about studying in your own country or studying abroad? Would you compare or contrast? Okay, and so Su Sung Su says contrast. All right, so then what would you say if you contrast? I would say in both places, you compare. Was it you can have friends in both places, and then I would I remember contrast is that I think how it would be different was sometimes I would get homesick when I lived in Japan when I was younger. Okay, so what would you guys say? What would you guys say for studying in your own country? I mean, going to school for most of you. What's the difference between going to, or would you compare going to school in Myanmar versus going to school in Thailand? So JK says cultures and traditions. Okay. So what do you think? Are they, JK, would you compare or contrast? What would you do? So says different between studying abroad and, okay. All right. And so how is it different? So let me see. Living in difference for me was the biggest difference. I think now it's not so hard. But when I went to school, or I studied in Japan. Actually, I did an internship in Japan in 1998. So that's like 23 years ago. So the biggest difference then was there was really no. The internet was kind of beginning, okay, and there was no Facebook Messenger or no YouTube. So if I wanted to call my family on the phone, very expensive. Of course, now it's free on Messenger. I can call my mother on Messenger, so it's no big deal. So the difference is I would get homesick. So how would you guys contrast studying in Myanmar versus studying in Thailand? How is it different? I know many of you said you'd contrast, but how? Okay, here we go. Finally, okay. So we have Somo says I would contrast experiences upon the studying journey. Okay, all right. So maybe you can talk about the new experiences that you had. And then Augustus says, I can experience my cultures when we study abroad rather than study in our own country. Yeah. That's actually another great thing about studying abroad. That's why I prefer to live outside of America, because that means I can experience new cultures and meet new people. Because I think living in America, I got very bored. After living in Japan, I lived in Japan for 8 years. Then I went back home to America for about 2 years. I was very, very bored. And so then that's when I decided to move to Thailand, because I prefer the expat life. All right. So then Saw says studying abroad is better than studying in one's country. Okay, could be. Yeah, I know living in of course I got my master's degree and I'm working on my PhD in Thailand. The good thing is that it's cheaper. It's cheaper here, a lot cheaper. But then America, maybe, I don't say it's better, but maybe I can learn more. I think if I got my PhD in America. But the good thing is in Thailand it's very cheap. All right. So how about again, Somo says contrast the teaching and learning at facilities as well. Okay, yeah, very very good. Yeah, so maybe there'd be different teacher styles between different countries and different learning facilities. I think that's another thing where I think American universities are pretty good. Although they are very expensive, the facilities are really good. Okay. All right, let's go to the next one here. Here we go. Number 3. Okay, using cash versus using a credit card. Okay. So what do you think? What would you do with this? Would you compare or contrast? I would say for me, maybe contrast is that I think, well, actually compare, I think they're both kind of easy to use. Contrast is that maybe using a credit card is easier. But I would say that also maybe using a credit card can be more dangerous, because if some people, if they get your credit card number, then they can use it. Because this happened to me one time, many years, probably maybe 15 years ago. I bought something on Apple iTunes. I bought an app, and apparently somebody got my credit card number and tried to use it. And that's when I got a message from Apple saying, hey, somebody tried to use your credit card number. And luckily, there's no money on it. So they didn't get anything. But yeah, so I got a new card, and they gave me a new PIN number. So, all right. So the rest of you are saying contrast, compare. Actually, both of you. So you guys. So what would you say if you're going to compare or contrast using cash or using a credit card? How would you compare or contrast? What would you do? Or what would you say? Okay, so then Jinda, okay, good. So Jinda says compare means both can. Oh yeah, you can use both for shopping. JK says using a credit card is easier. Yes. Except I know that when I go, I remember one time I was in Thailand. I was trying to buy gas for my car, and the gas station, cash only. So that you'll come across that it's easier, but some places they don't take credit card, cash only, which is very different in America. So usually we pay with our card, which makes it a lot easier. Okay, then Su Sung Su says using cash is very dangerous while on a trip. Okay, yeah, if you don't want to carry a lot of cash. But I guess it also depends where you're going. I know that some places are safer or more dangerous than others. But I know when I travel in Japan, it's very, very safe, very safe. Okay, then Augustus says using cash is better than credit money because in this age we have a lot of hackers. Yes, yeah. So that's actually what I do. Is that whenever I buy something online, I have 2 bank accounts. And what I do is I keep my money in one bank account. Then if I want to buy something online, and for this bank account, I don't have an ATM card. And so what I do is if I want to buy something online, I transfer the money to my other bank account, and that bank account I will buy something online so that I cannot get hacked. Or so there's a very small possibility of getting hacked. But yeah. Okay. Then Somo says contrast the ways of using both cash and card. Compare the benefits of using them. Okay. And then the second says cash may take time for bills. Okay. All right. Good. All right. Let's go to the next one here. Now it is the role of a mother versus the role of a father. Okay. So would you compare, contrast, or both? I would personally compare, because I would say in American culture, not always, but typically, both mother and father, they work, and they both are supposed to help with the housework. But then of course in other cultures, like when I lived in Japan, the men usually have to work, and the mother, sometimes they have a part-time job, or sometimes they stay home. So I guess it depends on culture. But then in Thailand, I think that from my experience, I think that mothers, they work very, very hard, and many times they have a job, and they also take care of the kids, and many times the fathers, that they also help. But I think I'm very impressed with the mothers in Thailand, because they work very, very hard. All right, now we have here. So JK says, my mom and my dad both work for us. Okay. I know, it's the same with me growing up. Both my mother and my father worked. My mother was a teacher like me. Okay, so Firefly. So how would you compare? So Su Sung Su says, between role of the parents, as they have different chores in a family. Okay. That's interesting. I know in my family growing up, both my mother and father, they both had similar chores, and as kids we had similar chores. So usually my mother would cook dinner the weeknights, because she got home earlier. But then on the weekends, my father would cook like really good breakfast. So both my mother and father would cook for us. Okay, all right, good. So now let's go to the last one here. Number 5, it is going to be buses versus trains. Okay, so for buses versus trains, would you compare or contrast? Oh, good. Now we're up to 25 people here. Oh, that's 5 more than last week. Okay, because I guess the reason why I laugh is because when I set up this program, I announced it. There are about 150 people. Oh yes, I want to join. But there's not 150 people. I think there's the homework last week. I got about 111. Okay, so but I know last week we had about 20 people here for the live stream, and then I noticed afterwards there were about 100 and maybe 180. So yeah, so looks like most of you are watching it after class. But okay, so for you guys, looks like most of you said no, about half and half. So buses and trains. So how would you compare or contrast buses versus trains? For me, I would say that trains are much more convenient, because buses, my experience is that it takes a lot longer time to go from point A to point B on a bus than on a train, because the buses, they're on the road with the other cars, and sometimes they get stuck in traffic jams. But trains they have their own track, and so they can go a lot faster. Yeah, especially when I lived in Japan, the buses, it took forever on a bus, but go on a train, very quick. Okay, so Sanza says, my father's career is more dangerous than my mother. Okay, all right. Okay, no, that would be a not compare but contrast. Yes. Okay, Su Sung Su says, buses run slower than trains. Moreover, trains are used for long journey, while buses are used in the town or city. Okay, good. Is there anybody else want to compare or contrast? So it says train is more, yes, we say trains are more comfortable. So yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I like riding in trains, especially in the cross country trains, because you get to see a nice scenic view and nice and relaxing, and you can eat food on the train. People come by with food. Also, I also like the bullet trains. Very quick, very fast. Okay. Now it says, Augustus says, when the train comes, the bus have to wait. The train to yes. Yeah, so the train has more rights. So if a train comes, then the bus has to stop. Okay, there we go. So La Do Hatu says trains carry passengers, or you say trains carry more passengers than buses. That's true. And Somo says there are so many differences between bus and train here in Myanmar. There's no qualified train for us, so we are depending. Oh, okay, I see. Okay, all right. Yeah, actually, I would say that in my hometown in America, because Americans we love to drive our cars. So I would say only in the big cities we have trains or a subway. So, but we do have a kind of a train in my hometown, but it's only been around. It hasn't been around that long. Maybe been around. I guess about 30, maybe 25 to 30 years. But yeah, it's becoming more popular. And then Thaint says, yeah, buses are more, or you say buses are better in Myanmar. Okay, all right, sounds good. All right. Well, now let's keep going here. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do practice comparatives. Okay. So in this sentence we have Sarah, and then busy, and then Mary. So if you're gonna make I guess actually even though it's a comparative, we say comparative, we're contrasting. So how would you finish this sentence? Sarah, and then using the word busy, and Mary. How would you contrast the two? Let me go back here, your comments. So Firefly says train is better than buses because trains carry more goods or passengers. Okay, good. And then So is saying is busier. Oh, wow, that was fast. Sarah is busier than Mary. Wow, very good. So Somo, you got that one done pretty fast. Yes, so Sarah is busier than Mary. So usually the first one, it takes a while for people to understand. But as we keep going here, it should get easier. Okay, now, so how would you finish this sentence? So the sun, hot, the earth. How would you finish this? Wow. Somo, you must be our comparative our comparative wizard. So yeah, here we go. Let's see here. Yeah, so the sun is hotter than the earth. Okay, so many people, when we first introduce comparatives, many people they forget the verb. Okay, the verb. So remember, for a sentence to be a sentence, you need a subject and a verb. And in this case, it's is. So this is referred to as a be verb. So a be verb can take many forms. It can be is, are, was, or were. Okay. So you want to make sure when you're doing comparatives, if it doesn't have a verb, you're going to need to use a be verb. Okay. So yeah. So the sun is hotter than, and then we have to use than because we're comparing two things. Okay. So don't forget the be verb if you need it, and then the word than when you're comparing two things. Okay, next, here we go. Ooh, earth, large, the moon. So how would you finish that sentence? Earth, large, the moon. Wow. Somo, you're so quick. Either you're incredibly intelligent, or you have very good Wi-Fi. Okay, all right, here we go. Yeah, so the Earth is larger than the moon. So again, in this case, this is the be verb, okay, and then we also use than. Okay, so now I have a question for everybody. Okay, so why is it in this sentence, so Earth is larger than the moon, why is it we use ER? And like other words, let's say interesting, we don't say interesting-er, we say more interesting. So why is it in some sentences, when we use a comparative, we use ER, and in other cases, we use more? Who can tell me why? Who knows why? Somo, you came so close. Not the syllabus. Because remember, a syllabus, this is like when you start a new course, the teacher will give you syllabus. This is like a plan for the course. Okay, now yeah, very good. So the word you're looking for, not syllabus, but syllables. Okay, let me type that here. So this is the word you're looking for. Syllables. Okay. Okay, there we go. So ka ke pa, you said short syllable. Okay, yeah. So generally, way it goes. You can always count the syllables by clapping your hands. So large. Okay, that has one syllable. So if it's one syllable, we use ER. Okay, but say another word like interesting, that has 4, right? Okay, so the way it goes, if there's more than 2 syllables, we use more, like more interesting or more beautiful. But you got to be careful with the words with 2 syllables, because sometimes it can be ER, sometimes it can be more, and sometimes it can be both. Okay, so you just have to be careful with those 2. All right. Okay, so now let's keep going here. Ooh, elephants, big horses. So how would you finish that sentence? JK says you're smart. Yeah. Okay. So Somo says elephants is bigger. Oh yeah, Jinda, and I guess Jinda would. So Kake and Jinda all said are. Okay. So you want to be careful with this. Okay. That's why when I said using a be verb, it can be is, are, was, or were, or be, of course. So elephants. So there's two elephants there. Therefore, we use are. But again, if I said only one, if say this elephant is bigger than that horse, okay, then we use is. Okay, so if it's more than one, always remember to use are for your be verb. Okay. Action movies, exciting comedies. So how would you finish that sentence? How would you finish that sentence? Are more exciting than. Yes, okay, good job. Oh, but rejoice, remember, elephants are bigger than horses. So there's 2 or more elephant. They're talking about elephants in general, so more than one, so we use are. But yes. Okay, so this one with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Action movies are more exciting than comedies. Okay, so now we're going to transition from the comparatives. Now we're going to talk about the superlatives. Okay, so superlatives is when we talk about when we compare more than 2 things. Okay, so how would you, using a superlative, how would you finish this sentence? We have Jupiter, big, planet in our solar system. Okay, so Somo, you're a superlative expert again. So Jupiter is what? Let me see here. Yeah, is the biggest planet in our solar system. Let me see here. Yes, is the biggest planet in our solar system. Okay, next one. Ooh, so we bought expensive TV in the store. So how would you guys finish that sentence? We bought expensive TV in the store. Ooh, okay, Somo said we bought the most expensive TV in the store. So let me see here. Yes, okay, very good. So we bought the most expensive TV in the store. Okay, now, which sport do you think dangerous? Okay, this one may be a little trickier, but how would you finish this sentence? How would you finish this sentence? Which sport do you think not more dangerous? Ah, yes. Sa sha la mon win. Okay, is the most dangerous. So which sport do you think is the most dangerous? Okay. Next one. My cat lazy, animal I know. So then how would you finish that sentence? How would you finish that sentence? Okay, Thaint said, my cat is the laziest animal I know. Let me see here. Yes, my cat is the laziest animal I know. Okay, so now, I think we got one more here. Okay, now, this restaurant serves good food in town. So how would you change this into a superlative? What do you guys think? This restaurant serves what? Ooh, yes, the best. Let me see here. Yes, okay, very nice. So now, okay, now we got like or as. Okay. So how would you guys finish this sentence? My sister is very artistic. She is not as athletic. Me. So which one would you use? Would you use like or as? Would you say she is not as athletic like me? Or she is not as athletic as me? As. So yes, very good. All right. Let me see. Let's see here. Yes, very nice. Now, today is Friday. So today, on every Friday, we wear casual wear. What do you guys think? Today is Friday. So today, on every Friday, we wear casual wear. Uh-oh. Now we're down to 21. 21 people here. So it looks like we have maybe the same people as last week. here live. But okay. Ooh, so now we have many people say like. Let me see here. Yes, like on every Friday. Okay. All right. So next one, here we go. I've had my hair cut and styled. You can see. So which one is it? Is it like or as? Like, as. Okay, now we're getting more as's. Looks like most of you now are saying as. Let me see here. Yes, as you can see. Okay, very nice. All right, next one. Ooh. Okay, so now Julie is completely overworked. She works a slave. Ooh, looks like we have both like or as. Now it looks like more likes. Let me see here. Let's see what the answer is. Like a slave. Okay, yeah. So does anybody know what's the difference between using like or as? Does anybody know the difference between using like or as? In this case, why are we using like? Kunjan says no. Okay. All right. So in this case, we say she works like a slave. Okay. That means we're making a comparison between Julie and a slave. Okay. We're not saying that she's a slave. We're just saying that she works really, really hard. Because a slave, generally they have to work really hard. And then we're making a comparison. Okay. Or like what Kakepa says, like shows similarity, okay? But as doesn't really talk about a comparison. What it does is trying to connect two clauses together. So if I say she works as a slave, then that means that she's really a slave, all right? Her job, that's what her job is. So that's the differences. When we use like, it's more of like a comparison. But as it kind of connects two clauses together. Okay? All right, next one. Here we go. He's a very good swimmer. He can swim a fish. So what would you say? Would you say like a fish or as a fish? So Kakepa says like. He can swim like a fish. Let me see here. Yes, okay, very nice, good. All right, now we'll go through a few of these, okay? Not all of them, but what I want you to do, I want you guys, can you make a topic sentence for plastic surgery? So plastic surgery, this is where people, they go to the doctor and they have people, they actually change through a surgery, they change their physical appearance. So maybe people, they want to have maybe their eyebrows like this, or maybe their nose, make the nose smaller or bigger. I know my wife, she really wants to get plastic surgery because she wants a big nose. But I told her, I have a big nose. You don't want a big nose. But, okay. So, I want you, can you guys make a topic sentence based on, do you think, is plastic surgery, is it good or bad? So me, I would say plastic surgery is not good. Because even though it can make some people more beautiful or good looking, things can go wrong. Especially if it's a bad doctor, you could end up with a deformed face. So you look at Michael Jackson. He had a lot of plastic surgery done, especially on his nose. And then he looks a lot different than when he was young. But okay, Augustus, you say it's bad. So now I want you to come up with a topic sentence. Why do you think it's bad? Yeah, I think it's bad. I think it's bad because I think people should be happy with themselves. That's what I think. I think natural is the best way to go. But Kun John says plastic surgery is not good for health. Okay, good. That could be a topic sentence. Same with So. You said the same thing. Plastic surgery is not good for health. Okay, Susang Su. It's okay. It's okay if your internet is weak. That's no problem. You can always watch the video live, or not live, but you can watch the video after the session. That's fine. Okay, so La Do Hatu says plastic surgery is not natural. Okay. Yeah, I know. I also heard that in some countries it's more popular. I heard, especially in Korea, I've heard it's very, very popular there. Okay, let's go to the next one here. Oh, let's see here. Augustus says plastic surgery can harm our body. Yep, very true. As in the point with Michael Jackson, there's actually I don't know if this is true or not, but there was, I believe he was having a concert in New York, and the rumor was that his nose fell off during the concert, and they had to quickly put it back on. So, yeah, I think plastic surgery, it can turn out well, but it can also turn out not so well. So, but then now you have Na-Shi says plastic surgery make people more beautiful. Okay, that's true. Yeah, some cases. All right, so let's go to let's do one more here. Okay. Getting a part-time job versus partying in school. So which one is best? So I know when I was in university, I had to get a job. So I had a part-time job in the evenings and the weekends. Okay, so this is continuing from the last one. Some people said that plastic surgery has become one of the most popular cultures in Asia, more popular in Asia than in Africa. Okay, yeah, I know. Very, very popular. It's popular in Thailand. I know my wife wants to get it done, but I said no. But okay. What did you guys think about getting a part-time job when you're in college, or no job but you go to parties? Well, what's the best? I know in my university, when I was there 20 plus years ago, usually every Friday night there was a big party somewhere. Every Friday night. So yeah. But me, I was generally working, so. Okay, here we go. So Kake Pa says, getting a part-time job is better than wasting your time with partying. Okay, all right. And then Kun John says, getting a part-time job is good for me for some reasons. Okay, or Kun John, you can say this. There are several reasons why getting a part-time job is better for us. Okay. Augusta says we could earn more money if we're getting a part-time job than partying in college. Okay. All right, good. JK says getting a part-time job is better than partying in college. Okay. All right, good. Very nice. These are all good topic sentences. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to jump ahead here. We're going to go to, whoopsie. Okay, here we go. So we're going to go ahead and go to, and you guys can practice it at home. But what we're going to do now is we're going to review what we've done, what we've talked about so far in terms of writing an IELTS-based opinion essay. Okay? So the first one is that for an introductory paragraph, we start with your introductory. Okay, with an IELTS-based opinion essay, we start with your introductory paragraph. Okay, and then so for what we talked about. Okay, in each situation, first you're going to be given a prompt. So in the case of this one, this is okay. No, let me go. So Thanza says, what is the difference between college and university? Okay, So, good question. And the answer to that depends on which country you're in. Okay? So, America, they're the same thing. College and university are the same thing. So, in American English, we don't say go to university. We say go to college. So, when you mention a university and college, they mean pretty much the same thing. Okay? But I had a coworker from years ago, many years ago, from Canada, and she told me that a university was like a 4-year university, and a college was like a junior college, like a 2-year university. So that answers your question. That the difference between college and university depends on which country you're in. So America, they mean the same thing, but in other countries they may mean something differently. But yeah, so now I say the phrase "go to university" because that's British English, and I think there's more British people in Thailand than there are Americans. So, and that's also another reason why I say football and not soccer, because there are more British people here. So yeah. But okay. All right. So now when you take your IELTS based opinion essay, task 2, okay, you're going to be given a prompt like this. So it's going to say students are becoming more and more reliant on the internet. While the internet is convenient, it has many negative effects, and its use for educational purposes should be restricted. How far do you agree with this statement? Okay, so then what you're going to be doing, you take this prompt, and then that's when you want to start writing your essay. Okay, so then you go to your introductory paragraph. So the introductory paragraph is going to have 3 sentences. Sentence 1, you want to paraphrase the question. So you look back here. This is the question or the prompt you're given. So then what you want to do is you want to paraphrase this statement. Okay? Sentence 2, that's when you write your thesis statement. And remember your thesis statement, this is where you're going to have your topic or main idea plus your opinion. Okay? Then, sentence 3, this is your outline statement. All right? So this would be an example of an introductory paragraph. Okay? So, it is argued that the internet is beneficial for teaching and learning because there's so much information available, while others believe that the internet can be harmful to students. Okay? So this first sentence right here, this is where you're paraphrasing the question. Okay? Then you're going to go into your thesis statement. Okay? So this essay agrees with the idea that the internet is beneficial for students to develop their academic skills. Okay? So I would recommend when you're writing your thesis statement for an opinion-based IELTS essay, use the phrase, this essay agrees with the idea that, or this essay disagrees with the idea that. Okay? So if you use this statement, then it's very easy for the person who's reading your essay to understand what you're going to say. Okay? Okay. And as I said before, that when someone is checking your essay, it will take about 2 or 3 minutes for them to decide what your score is going to be. All right? So you want to make your essay very clear for them to understand. Okay? Then for your outline statement, okay, you say first, students can have access to information much more easily, and second, the internet can be a vital source to develop an individual's research skills. Okay, so this outline statement, what this is going to have is this is going to have your topic sentences for your body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2. Okay, that's where it says first, students can have access to information much more easily. Okay, so that's going to be your topic sentence for body paragraph 1. Okay, and then where it says second, the internet can be a vital source to develop an individual's research skills. So this is going to be your topic sentence for body paragraph 2. All right? Okay. So now we're going to go into body paragraph 1. Okay, this one, it has 3 sentences. You have your topic sentence. But again, you've already written your topic sentence. So it's right here. Okay? First, students can have access to information much more easily. Okay? So you already have that done. Okay, then you have explanation. So this is where you kind of expand a little bit on your topic sentence. And then you just give an example. Okay, so this is body paragraph 1. So first of all, students will be able to obtain the information they need from various sources and in various locations. Furthermore, this means you're expanding, okay? Furthermore, for many of their university courses, students nowadays may be required to utilize online media in order to complete their homework assignments, okay? Of course, and now this is where you have an example, okay? So of course, online media will be available from universities, from your university's computer lab or library, but can also be accessed from a student's very own computer or mobile phone. Okay, so and this is body paragraph 1. All right. Now we go to body paragraph 2. It's going to have the same structure. Okay. Topic sentence, explanation, example. And again, you've already stated your topic sentence in your introductory paragraph. All right. So this would be body paragraph 2. Second of all, the internet can be a vital source to develop an individual's research skills. Research is an area that is very important to develop and master, as it may be a prerequisite for many academic courses a student may be required to enroll in. So that's where you expanded on the topic. And now this is where you give an example. A perfect example of this would be citing references, paraphrasing, and avoiding plagiarism. Okay? So then this would be body paragraph 2. Okay? And again, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, they have the same structure. Okay? 3 sentences, topic sentence, explanation, and example. And you already stated your topic sentences in your introductory paragraph. So then when you write your body paragraphs, you just have to repeat. And again, don't say it exactly word for word, but this is where you're going to repeat the topic sentence. Okay? Or I shouldn't say that, restate it, but using more synonyms. Okay? Then you have an explanation. This is where you expand a little bit on the topic sentence. And then lastly, you offer an example. All right? Then next, we're going to go into what we're going to be the focus of today, which is concluding paragraphs. Okay, so now concluding paragraph, only 2 sentences. Okay? So you're going to have sentence number 1, summary of your main points. Okay, and sentence 2, opinion. So very easy. Okay, and again, with your concluding paragraph, remember the one thing that you never do is that you never want to introduce something new. Generally speaking, for your concluding paragraph, you're only trying to summarize what you stated before, kind of closing everything up. Okay? Now, it says for your summary of main points. So an effective conclusion should simply restate your thesis statement and your main supporting points. So here's an example of when you summarize your main points. Students can have access to information much more easily, and the internet can be a vital source to develop an individual's research skills. Okay? So in this case, what you're doing is you're just summarizing your topic sentences. Okay? And again, when you do this, you don't want it to be word for word exactly what you wrote in body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2, but you want to have the same idea. So make sure you use synonyms. Okay? All right. Then we go into sentence 2 is your opinion. Okay, so this is just what you state, what you believe. Okay, so an effective conclusion should simply restate your thesis statement and your main supporting points. Okay, so in essence, the internet is beneficial for students to develop their academic writing skills. So again, you're stating your thesis statement in your introductory paragraph, and that's going to be in the second sentence. So here, this is where you just want to restate it. But again, you want to paraphrase it a little bit. So you don't want to say word for word, but you want to have the same general idea. Okay? And then this would be your concluding paragraph. So in conclusion, the internet is beneficial for students to develop their academic skills based on the fact that students can have access to information much more easily, and it can be a vital source to develop an individual's research skills. Okay? All right, and again, so you can make this your concluding paragraph in a one or two sentences. Okay, so I did it in one, but you can do it in two. Okay, so what I'm going to show you is the finished product now. Let me go to the next screen here. Okay, so as you can see here, kind of similar to what we did last week. All right, so this right here, this is beginning here where it says students are becoming more and more reliant on the internet. While the internet is convenient, it has many negative effects, and its use for educational purposes should be restricted. How far do you agree or disagree with this statement? Okay, so this is going to be a sample prompt that you will be given. All right, the main point here, you want to make sure, first main point, make sure you write at least 250 words. All right, and then use this this outline as a reference. Okay, introductory paragraph, 3 sentences. Body paragraph, 3 sentences. Body paragraph 2, 3 sentences. Concluding paragraph, 1 or 2 sentences, but make sure you summarize your main point and tell your opinion. All right. So yeah, you just make sure you have these 11 sentences, and then you go down here. Go to the next page here. All right. So this would be a sample of the finished product here. This would be your essay. Okay, so you have body paragraph 1. You have introductory paragraph, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, conclusion. Okay, you may need. I think this one's a little short. This one's maybe only 200 words. But what you may need to do is you may need to add more information to your body paragraph. So if you think you don't have 250 words, remember that there is no limit on the number of words you can use. So if you want to, you can write 1,000 words. Okay, but you want to make sure you have at least 250 words. And when you take the official IELTS test for this part, you're going to have about 40 minutes to complete the essay. All right, so you want to make sure you have enough time to finish it, but also make sure you have at least 250 words. Okay, and then the third page here. Of course, this is just this is the non-indenting style. Okay, so if you want to indent, you can, and if you don't want to, that's fine. But if you don't indent, make sure you put that extra space between the paragraph, so that the person who's assessing your essay understands, like, which one's the introductory paragraph, which ones are the body paragraphs, and which one is the conclusion. Okay, all right. So, are there any questions for today? Any questions? No? Okay. All right. So what I'll do is I'll post the PowerPoint for this onto the line group, and I'll also post the example of the essay on the line group. So from now on, please follow this structure for writing an essay. Okay, and if you follow this structure, I guarantee you will get at least a B2 or higher on an IELTS exam. Okay, and so when you guys, I know in our university, for those of you, if you come to Ranksat University, in order to move up to Plan C, in order to take your courses that are related to your major, then you will need to take an IELTS-based test like this. Okay, so then if you use this structure on the test, you will get at least a B2 or higher. Okay. Okay. Now here it says, Augusta says, if it's over 250, that's okay. Yeah. So again, you can write 1,000 words if you want to. All right. But don't. Just make sure you have at least 250 words. I would say it's safe to go anywhere from 250 to 350. try not to go more than that. But realistically speaking, you're not going to have enough time during an actual IELTS exam to write more than 350 words, because you're going to have the writing part. There'll be two parts. Okay, you're going to have the task 1, okay, task 2. So task 1, this is it's less. We're not going to get into task 1 for this course, but it's less important. Okay, so that should take about 20 minutes, and then the task 2, which is what this is, this should take about 40 minutes. And in total, they're only going to give you 1 hour to finish the writing part of the test. Okay, so you need to have time management. But okay, all right. If there's no more questions, then I guess that's it for today. Yeah, and I know what we'll do is I know some of you had mentioned that you got a different topic from your mentor than you did for the actual homework. So what I'll do is I'll let them know to make sure that you get the same topic that I give them. Okay, so because that's what I want you to do is I give you the topic, then you work with your mentor to make the essay better, and then you then you turn in the final version to me on Friday night. Okay. So again, I changed the time. You can because what happened was I found out was that some people would submit the homework, and then on Wednesday, then when you met your mentor Thursday or Friday, you say, "Oh no, I've already finished it." Okay, so I'm going to stop that. I'm going to post the link for the homework every Friday night at 9 o'clock. And so now, when you guys turn in the homework on Microsoft Forms, okay, submit it to me by tonight, okay? And then what I'm going to do, then every Sunday morning I'm going to go through and I have to analyze it, okay? Augusta says my grammar corrections assignment should we? Okay, no. For the pre-writing exercises, you don't need to send that to me. Okay, just do that with your mentor. So here's what I want you to do. Okay, you're going to be getting like a pre-writing exercise in the beginning. So I would say spend only about 10 minutes on that. Okay, and then those of you in the morning, those of you in the afternoon, you're going to have different pre-writing exercises. Okay. So the ones in the morning, all you have to do is I'm going to give you a list of 10 words that weren't used properly in the homework, and then you just give definitions, and then you give that to your mentor, and the mentor will give you feedback, okay? Those of you in the afternoon, a little differently, I'm actually taking sentences that you wrote in your homework that were written incorrectly, and then what you have to do, you write it correctly, and then you give feedback, and you get feedback from your mentor about which answers are right, which ones are wrong. Okay, so yeah. So for the pre-writing exercise, just spend about 10 minutes on that, and the rest of the time, the 45 to 50 minutes, work on your essay. Okay. All right. So Augustus says hi, hi, hi. Hello. Okay, all right. So it looks like, okay, so we're finished for today. And I'll post this on the line group right now. I'll post the PowerPoint and the summary, or the, I guess, the how to write the essay structure and the example to you. All right, so we're finished for today. And I will see you next time, okay?